Hey you guys, today I have a beautiful makeup tutorial for you. It's going to be on this beautiful soft glam look right here, which is very popular right now. If you want to see how I achieve this look, then please continue watching. So, jumping right into my face, I'm going to be spraying my face with this Pixie Hydrating Mist, and I'm just going to be pressing it into my skin because you don't want to start on a dry canvas. And then I'm going to go straight into my brows using my Precise My Brow Pencil by Benefits. This is actually one of my favorite brow pencil, and I'm just going to be drawing a line underneath the natural pattern of my eyebrow, and then I'm going to be doing the same thing on the top, and then just gradually filling it in, taking my time trying to get the desired look that I would like. So I'm just going to keep filling in my brows until I get it to where I would like, and then I'm going to be taking that same brow pencil and slowly creating the front with hair-like strokes. And then I'm going to go in and use the other end, which has a spoolie on it, and I'm just going to blend everything out and blend everything together so that it has a gradient look, like it's fading from light to dark. Okay, so then I'm going to be going in with this concealer by Juvia's Place. I don't really remember the number. I believe it's like number 14 or 15, but I'm just placing a few dots underneath my brows. And then I'm going to go back in with this small concealer brush by Morphe, and I'm just going to clean up my brows and shape everything. And I'm using a lighter color on the bottom so that I can get that kind of highlighted brow effect on the bottom. And then later on, I'll be going in with a deeper shade on the top to fill in that as well. So on this part, just take your time. There's no need to rush. Remember that you want to get it as close as you can to that bottom line that you created with the brow pencil, but not going too far to where you erase the brow. Then you're going to go in with a damp beauty sponge and just blend all of that out and blend all of it into the skin so that there's no harsh lines and everything is looking flawless. So remember when I said I'm going to go in with a deeper concealer, I'm taking the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Deep. And then I'm going to be using that to craft out and carve out the top of my brows. Now I'm using a color that's closer to my skin tone so that it'll blend a little bit better once I go in and use foundation. I want my brow highlighted but not too much at the top. Then I'm going in with that same damp sponge and I'm blending everything together. Moving on to my primer, I'm taking the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer and I'm just warming that up in my hand, and then I'm going to begin to press that into my skin. Now you don't want to rub too much, just more so press. And then I'm going in with Born This Way 24-hour foundation in the shade Butter Pecan, and it's more on the orangey side, but usually once my tan is all the way set in, this is my shade. So I'm just placing it all over my face, and then I'm going to be going in with this fluffy foundation brush. I believe it's by Morphe, and I'm just going to be tapping it into my skin, not so much as rubbing or dragging, but just placing it in the skin and placing it where you would like it to be. Now you're going to want to take your time with this too, because you don't want it to look streaky. You want it to be as flawless as possible, and you're just going to want to blend that in and tap that into your skin as much as possible. Then you're going to go back in with that damp beauty sponge, and then you're just going to blend everything together so that, again, there's no types of creasing or streaks, and everything is just flawless and even all over. And I'm just using tapping motions, not wiping motions, just tapping so that it's just pressed inside of my skin and it's pressed in there evenly and beautiful. Okay, so please don't forget to blend out your forehead before it dries, and just blend that out with that same beauty sponge, and make sure that your concealer and everything else is matching and blended in together and no harsh lines. So going in with that same concealer from Juvia's Place, I'm going to begin to highlight and conceal under my eyes to cover my dark circles a little bit and bring a little bit brightness back up under my eyes. So I'm just using that little wand and I'm placing it all over my eye in a bit of a triangle shape. And I'm just going to be repeating that on the other eye. And the last thing that I'm going to do is go in and I'm going to place that along the bridge of my nose. Now I'm going to be contouring my nose, so I want to highlight a little bit in the middle. Now going in and taking this same beauty sponge, I'm going to be blending out that highlight. And I waited a little bit for it to get tacky so that it can be as full coverage as possible, even though this is pretty full coverage concealer from Juvia's. So I'm just pressing it into my skin and making sure that I stay in the area that I placed the concealer. And then I'm just going to repeat that on the other eye as well. Now taking that bottom end, I'm going to go in and blend out those harsh lines. Now the other end is pretty much product free. That's why it's just blending it out and not adding any more product. So to contour my face today, I'm going to be using this foundation stick from Black Opal in the shade Toasted Chestnut. And I really prefer using these over the ones that's in a jar or any other type of concealer because it's pretty thick and it just kind of sits where you want it to be. And it's also very easy to apply because you don't have to have a brush or anything to place it where you need it to be. And it gets pretty sharp lines. And it's very good for your nose because all you have to do is turn it to the side and do just like I'm doing. Go up your nose. Now the key to getting your nose snatched is that little top piece at the top of your nose and where your eye socket is. You have to go along that little bone and like kind of bring it into your brow. And you'll see what I'm talking about as I continue to contour my nose. You're just going to go back and forth and try to get it as straight as possible, but you don't need it straight. So this part depends on how skinny or how thin or how snatched you want it. If you want it more thin, then you bring the lines closer together. It's really just up to you. Then I'm going to go in with this brush by Morphe and I'm just going to blend everything out and blend everything together, making sure that I press that into my skin as well as blend it out. And then I'm just going to be using this same brush and I'm going to go along my cheeks as well. But just take your time and blend all of those colors and blend everything together so that you don't have any type of harsh lines or any like demarcation where it starts and where it ends. And then again, just go in and blend out everything. Don't drag it below where you want to contour because remember, the purpose of contouring is to shape and sculpt the face. So you don't want your face to appear longer or you don't want it to be fatter, rounder, whatever. Contouring is basically to slim the face and have the face snatched and just to make it a little bit more defined. So going in to blend out my nose contour, I'm using a different brush. This is a smaller brush by Real Techniques, and I believe it's an eyeshadow brush, but I've never used it for eyeshadow. I've only ever used it for my contouring. So you're going to want to take your time and just go along the line that you created and just pretty much blend everything together and try to get it as even and blended as possible so that they're not harsh lines like with contour. You will see some of the lines, but it just all depends on how snatched you want it to look. But you can just blend it in and make it as natural as possible. And then I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the other side. And once I'm finished using the smaller side of that brush, I usually will go back in and use the opposite side and just blend out the part closest to my cheeks so that it's no harsh lines. So now it's time to go back and begin setting the face. To set my concealer, I'm going to be using the Morphe Banana Setting Powder. And I'm just going to take that damp blending sponge and dip it into the powder and dip off the excess. And then I'm just going to begin pressing it into my skin, not swiping, but pressing it so that it's melted into the skin and that you don't have any creasing and that everything appears flawless in airbrush. And I'm just going to take that and go along all the places that I placed that lighter concealer, and I'm just going to set everything together. Now it's time for me to bronze my face. So I'm going in with a Juvia's Place bronzer and I think it's the bronzer kit deep or deep dark or dark, one of the other. But I'm taking those two shades and I'm mixing them together, and I'm just using this to go over all of the places that I contour to bring a little bit more warmthness back to the face and to further define and set that contour that we did earlier. And you're just going to repeat that again all over the places that you place that contour. Okay, so since this is soft glam, the eyes are pretty simple and neutral. I'm just going to take this brown shade from the Morphe 350 palette, I believe, and I'm just going to place that all over my lid because the soft glam tends to stay more on the nude, neutral, brown skin tone type vibe. So you're just going to rub that in, and then I'm going in and setting my face with this mist from NYX. And then I'm going to go in with my favorite highlighter from Juvia's Place. It's in the shade Nubia, and I'm just going to highlight my nose and my upper cheekbone and then the other side. And then I'm going to go in and take this same highlighter, and then I'm going to highlight my inner tear ducts. And I really love to use highlighter. I'm not that big on blush. Sometimes I might use blush, sometimes I might not. But today I chose not to. So I'm just highlighting everywhere that I want to highlight. Okay, to finish up this look, I'm going to be taking this black eyeliner and just creating a straight line across. And then I'm going to go off camera and I'm just going to add my favorite lashes. And then I'm going to go in and add some lip gloss as well. And this look is complete, baby. This is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you guys next time.